My name is Dr. Nia Imani Bailey. Radiation kills and shrinks the cancer cells. The goal is that the cancer will never return and the healthy cells will regenerate. There are risks to radiation therapy and breast cancer treatments. That includes erythema, which is redness. The breast can become itchy. It can become tight. You can be very fatigued from radiation treatments. There's a myriad of different risks or side effects that you can get from radiation therapy, but those are the main side effects from radiation therapy to the breast. Radiation has successfully, if I can say the word, treated breast cancer so many times. I don't know if there's one specific case study that I have, but there's many patients that have turned friends that are doing tremendously well in their treatment. They had surgery, they had chemotherapy, they met me in radiation, and they are doing phenomenal. And the radiation was able to kill those cancer cells, and now they're living life. They're married with children, on the beach, doing something happy. So I have many stories, many case studies of women doing phenomenal because of the radiation that they received. I became a radiation therapist because my father was diagnosed with prostate cancer when I was a sophomore in high school. I'm a daddy's girl, so I'm like, what is happening? And to be honest, he did not tell our family until after his treatments. But once I found out that he was diagnosed, I had to get in the same field that treated him. I needed my dad to be here, and he is here. And I wanted to help other people going through the same process that my dad went through and what we went through after finding out that he completed his radiation treatments. I've noticed that treatments and technologies are getting better. Treatments aren't as long. Patients are absolutely able to have a life outside of treatment. So they work, we have moms who are still doing their mom thing, fathers, anything that they want to do, they're still able to do. And although it's still hard, they're fatigued, they're having redness in their breast, tightness in their breast, if we're talking in particular, about breast cancer, but they're able to live a life. And I would say that's sort of what's coming out of radiation therapy since I've started. And I've been in the field almost 10 years. That's a great question. I can speak on it on both levels. So in my field, I don't think there's a lot of African-American radiation therapists. So it's very good for the patient to see somebody that looks like them and for them to feel comfortable, like, okay, yes, I am supposed to be going through radiation treatments. She does understand what I'm going through. My breast is not going to be beet red. It's going to tan. It's going to be brown. And those are the experiences that really hit home for me. And I really understand, like, okay, I need to be here to offer some representation. But on the flip side of the patients who are African-American and the young women who are being treated for radiation, they see like, okay, there's a young Black woman on the other side of it. And I see a sea of other people that don't look like me. They're not as young and they're not as Black, or just even the skin tones, things like that. And it makes a huge difference to be in the field for just representation and to know that I have your back regardless of your race and your color. But because I am your race and your color, I have your back 100%. And I think that's very important in the field of radiation. I received my doctorate at Westchester University in 2020, and my focus was breast cancer, lowering the age of mammography, and let's get to business, basically, is what it said, because it's so true that Black women in general get the diagnosis of breast cancer much earlier, usually at the age of 35. And right now, the task force lowered their age from 50 to 40, but as I just stated, Black women get it at 35, so 40 is too old. So I really wanted to hit home that it's very important to know your body and feel your body, know what your body feels like, your breasts look like, to advocate for yourself. If you know that something's wrong with your body, speak out. And if that doctor or physician's not listening to you, go to someone else. It's your body. To know your family cancer history, as Black and brown people, we typically don't know our family cancer history, it's usually married, passive something, or bad blood, but to know the specifics, that helps completely. I was fortunate to know my family cancer history, so I took that information to my doctor. They put it in a risk assessment, and I have a greater than 20% chance of getting breast cancer, specifically because my father has prostate cancer. That increases my risk. So now, starting at the age of 28, I'm 31 years old now, I get 2 screenings a year, a breast mammography and a 3D breast MRI. That's so important for me because I have the resources and tools to, if I do get diagnosed with breast cancer, I can lower the risk of me dying from it because it's being caught early. Similarly, genetic testing. I got genetic testing done. I know I have a gene BCL6, which increases my risk of lymphoma. I am happy for that. Why? Because now I get blood tests and screenings to know, hey, if I ever get it, I have a better prognosis. So all these things that I poured into my dissertation in order to receive my doctorate so that other Black and brown people can have these tools and resources to decrease the risk of developing breast cancer. I wrote a documentary entitled A Letter to My Sisters, a breast cancer documentary for young women, for women to know their risk. So we had phenomenal women tell their stories, 3. The first woman, her name is Janique Rivera. She was diagnosed with breast cancer when she was 29 years old. She's Jamaican, Chinese, and Puerto Rican, and she tells her story of advocacy. Everybody kept saying she was too young to get breast cancer, and Janique is very straightforward. She said, y'all gonna mammogram my breast because something's going on. And it turned out she has an advanced form of breast cancer called triple negative breast cancer. The breast cancer metastasized, it spread to her lung. She had her lung removed. It then spread to her brain, 6 centimeters in her brain, and she's still here. Breast cancer is not a death sentence, but if you don't advocate for yourself, it can be. So I'm very proud of her, and she tells her story. The second woman, her name is Brenda Durantes. Her interview is in Spanish. She's a strong Mexican woman, and my good friend Tatiana was able to talk to her in the native language of Spanish, and she basically said, Mexican women don't get breast cancer. We don't have time for it. I didn't know we could have it. So it's very important that she told her story in her language. And the last woman, her name is Lynn Mitchell. She is German, Irish, and Swedish, and she was diagnosed when she was 41, and she tells her story of being a single mom and finally putting herself first. And it was very important for me to know and to tell the story that breast cancer does not discriminate. It doesn't matter what language you speak, what you look like, if you're a single mom, if you have $1 million, if you have 25 cents to rub together, that we all have the chance and can get breast cancer. Men can as well. And I wanted to provide them with the resources and tools to know the stories of the other women so that hopefully they can take it with themselves and hopefully it can save somebody's life. It's important for me to come here to the MQFactory PinkMission Summit because I just simply want to save lives. My good friend passed away of triple negative breast cancer at the age of 33, and I want to make sure that never happens again. I have 2 nieces, Quinn and Jade, and I want to make sure they never have to deal with breast cancer. My mom, my dad, my brother, my friends, the world. I know a woman currently right now, she's 28 years old and she's on hospice. So it's very important to educate the community. So one day we don't have to say rest in peace in terms of breast cancer. It's a thing of the past. And that's why I'm here. I am Nia, and I am fighting for Jacqueline, Janique, Brenda, Lynn, Kawania, Love, fighting for everyone.